Have you ever had someone in your life just vanish? One day they're a part of your world and the next they're just gone. No big fight, no dramatic exit, just silence. It's so easy to look at that and think, wow, that's cold, or how could they be so cruel? But what if there's a whole other story going on beneath the surface? Today, we're going to dig into the really complex and often painful psychology of why some people cut everyone off. This right here, this sentence, gets to the absolute heart of it. It's rarely about wanting to hurt someone. It's about emotional weight. It's that tipping point where the sheer effort of staying in a relationship becomes heavier than the pain of walking away. It's a true last resort. So to really get this, we have to kind of shift our perspective. We need to move away from seeing this as a cruel, heartless act, and instead try to see it for what it almost always is from the inside, an act of pure survival. And this slide just lays out that massive disconnect perfectly. On the outside, to us, the behavior looks cold, confusing, maybe even arrogant. But from the inside, for the person doing it, it often feels like a desperate act of survival. It's painful. It's not what they want to do, but it feels absolutely necessary. It is their last resort. And that is the most crucial thing to understand. People who do this didn't just wake up one morning and decide to hit the delete button on their relationships. No, they endured. For a long, long time, they quietly put up with feeling misunderstood, with always being the strong one, the fixer, until something inside them just broke. So how does a person even get there? What is this breaking point? Well, it's almost never a single big event. It's more like a slow, quiet buildup of emotional weight, one little thing at a time. There's actually a psychological term for this: emotional saturation. It's that deep, soul-level exhaustion you feel when you have poured every ounce of your energy into your relationships and you just don't feel seen or met in return. You are just completely, utterly drained. This is such a perfect way to picture it. You can keep trying to give, to show up, to be there for people. But if your own cup is cracked and leaking, eventually you just run dry. The choice to stop pouring isn't about them, really. It's about looking down and realizing you have absolutely nothing left to give. And what causes those cracks in the cup? Well, it's usually these seemingly small moments. It's the constant feeling of being talked over in conversations. It's your phone only buzzing when someone needs something from you. It's everyone telling you how strong you are when what you're screaming for is just a little support. Each one is like a tiny paper cut, but over years, they add up to a really deep wound. And all of this leads to another really important concept: identity fatigue. This is when you stop feeling like a person and start feeling more like a function. You're the responsible one, the good listener, the problem solver. Your entire sense of self gets wrapped up in being useful, and sometimes disappearing feels like the only way to figure out who you are without all that pressure. For a lot of people in this situation, there's no middle ground. Maybe because of past hurts, where being vulnerable got them punished or dismissed, they've learned that getting close is risky. So it's either all in or all out. And when being all in just becomes too painful, well, all out starts to look like the only safe harbor. Okay, so they do it. They disconnect. But what comes next isn't always the instant peace they were searching for. In fact, sometimes that silence can become absolutely deafening. The aftermath often rolls out in these phases. At first, there's just relief. A feeling of being able to finally breathe as the nervous system calms down. But then, the loneliness starts to creep in. And when you step away from everyone, you also lose all those reflections of yourself. This kicks off a huge internal battle: the deep need for safety versus that fundamental human craving for connection. This just nails the central paradox, doesn't it? The walls they built, they work. They're great at keeping out the hurt. But the thing is, walls don't discriminate. They also keep out joy, support, and the very connection they might still secretly be longing for. And this is the question that eventually starts to bubble up in all that quiet. Is this feeling of calm actually peace? Or is it just numbness? Is this self-protection? Or is it a kind of emotional prison? Asking that question is the real turning point. It's the moment they start to challenge the idea that total isolation is a real, sustainable solution. So, if cutting everyone off isn't the final answer, then what is? Well, the path forward isn't about going back to the way things were. It's about finding a brand new way to connect. So, if there's one big idea to take away, it's this. Healing happens in the middle ground. It's not about just sucking it up and enduring everything, and it's not about living in a fortress of solitude. It's about learning the incredibly hard skill of staying present while also protecting your own energy. It's learning to say no without having to completely disappear. The really good news is that these are skills. They can be learned. Things like communicating a boundary before you're resentful, expressing a need without feeling like you have to apologize for it, and maybe the biggest one of all, giving yourself permission to be imperfect in your relationships, to show up even when you're tired or messy or unsure of yourself instead of just hiding away. And this quote just captures that shift in mindset so beautifully. The goal is not to be a perfectly reliable machine for other people. The goal is to be a human. Real connection is messy. It happens in those moments when we show up exactly as we are, not as the perfect, reliable version we think we're supposed to be. And so, this entire journey we've just talked about, it all comes down to this one single, powerful question. A question that people who cut others off have often been avoiding their whole lives. How do I stay connected to others without completely disappearing inside myself? The answer is definitely not easy, but just asking the question, well, that's where the real healing begins.